I'm continuing my Liminal World project today with a guest who is coming from Russia. I'm very pleased to finally have somebody from overseas because when I started my project, I wanted so much to collect stories from all over the world and to speak with people from elsewhere. But last 10 months, I ended up mostly talking with people from Canada. And I was working by that tagline, act or think globally, but act locally. And today, finally, I have somebody from overseas. With me is Rovshan Mamedkuliev. He's a guitarist and a professor of classical guitar on Moscow Academy. And I'm very pleased to have him today. Welcome, Rovshan.
Hello, Natasha. So nice to be in your project. Thank you for the invitation, and hello to everyone. I'm also very glad to share my, I don't know, myself with people all around the world. And as you all know, last year I was, like everyone, kind of locked in my home. So very nice to meet you. Thank you for the invitation.
I will start by being honest and saying that until 2 months ago, I didn't know anything about you. And once I was introduced, I started digging and I found behind this great story a great musician and great success. So, Rovshan, you're somebody who are traveling all over the world and performing pretty much, I think, on every continent. Maybe not Africa. I didn't find
Not
Africa,
Africa and not Australia.
Australia, but you are traveling last probably 10 more years around the world. You've won over 20 national and international prizes, awards, which are, I want to say that the one which is the biggest was the Guitar Foundation of America. A few years ago, you won a national prize, Russian national prize, then in Italy, in Spain. Like, you have impressive career. And I want to start from that point. How did you choose your instrument? When did you start playing? Who were your mentors and influences?
Yeah, thank you for such an introduction. I'm starting to remember all these competitions because the last competition was in 2015. So
Mhm.
already kind of some period came and left, and now I'm kind of can uh, look back and analyze why I did this step or why I choose that
Mhm.
competition. Yeah, I'm from Baku, from Azerbaijan,
Mhm.
and my father is from this country. Mother is Russian, and then when I was 7 years old, we moved to Russia, where my mother from, to Nizhny Novgorod, and there at the age of 11, I first time touched the guitar. Of course, like majority of people, I had no any idea about classical guitar. So I think this is the problem of classical guitar in general, that everybody loves guitar, but not so many people know what is classical guitar. If you meet person on the street and ask about classical piano or violin, they probably will say something. But if you ask about classical guitar, they will probably say that maybe you
Mhm.
sing songs. Yeah, I uh, this is my favorite talks in the taxi, because I have a lot of people who I meet in the taxi, and they ask like, what do you do? I sing guitar, and first of all they ask like, which group? I'm saying not group, I'm playing classical. Classical. Do you have a band? No, I'm playing solo guitar. Which songs? I'm not singing, I'm just playing. So it's just very complicated. So
Confusing,
yeah.
confusing.
So at the age of 11, I was introduced to the world of classical guitar by my teacher, Alexei Petropavlovsky, in Nizhny Novgorod. And I was kind of very excited from the beginning. And it was challenging to how to say, to bring something in this field, because it was not so developed in my region, at least. And I was thinking that, okay, first of all, I like it to play guitar, to play music, to play on stage. And secondly, classical guitar is not so, I don't have such a big competition. Like, for example, violinist or pianist. As you know, in Russia, the level is super high. Guitarist is also fine, but at that time when I began, was not so much. So I had a chance to show myself and to bring something to this field. So kind of from the beginning, I started to take part in different projects, competitions, concerts, festivals, played in duo with my teacher, and step by step, local competitions, national competitions, and then of course I had ambitions to be the best, and yeah, if I can say this, but I had this feeling like a little bit like a sportsman, that I need to go to the top to win bigger competitions. My first big success was in Spain. It's a Villa Lobos competition in 2010, and then other competition. Then in 2012 was this GFA, Guitar Foundation of America competition, which opens, which gives you first of all half of year tour in South and North America, mostly in States and in Canada. And yeah, so I'm very glad that we have in the guitar world this project, this competition, because otherwise I probably never played in Canada, and we probably didn't have interview. So
yeah, you never know. I found out that you were in Victoria in 2019.
Yeah, I was in Victoria 2 times, in 2019 and 2014. And 2014 was part of GFA tour.
I was going through your website, through your page, and like pretty much I asked myself, when do you have time for yourself, for your big family, and also how do you prepare to do what you do? Because if you ask me, there is no room. There is no room. You are actually when you are in a normal, when we are living normally, you pretty much perform or go to festivals pretty much day after day, week after week. I want to hear more about that like behind the scenes story. Like what it's like to prepare for a festival or for any performance. Like what is happening behind the scene? How much time do you need? Who is choosing the material for performance? How much do you need, like energy and time to prepare?
It's a very interesting question, and of course I have some schedule, so I should prepare, and I should make a structure of my life. Yeah, I have big family, so I have three daughters, and wife and parents, of course, and so it of course it takes a lot of time and energy, and at the same time I also doing, as a professional, I'm doing also different things. I'm teaching now in 2 academies in Moscow. I perform in solo, and I'm performing also different in duo, some with orchestras. So I perform with different programs, ensembles. Yeah, also doing, especially this year, is full of judging competitions and giving master classes. So what can I do? I'm just doing. I'm trying to make schedule, and when you have tough schedule, you start to understand that every minute is important. And yeah, and sometimes we lose a lot of time for nothing. So, in one day you can do many things, or you can do nothing. So it's your choice what to do. So, and when you have tough schedule, you start to appreciate every hour, every minute. So I think that's happened in my life right after marriage, maybe. So yeah, my first kid was born, my first daughter was born when I was 24. And I think from that period I started to understand, okay, if I will not practice now, then later I don't have time for this, so I need to do other things. Or if I, for example, today I have, for example, 1 free hour, and this is great that I have this 1 free hour, 1 hour without nothing. So I should use it for maximum.
Yes,
And
and
before, for
thank you.
example, I felt like, okay, I have free day, maybe, yeah, maybe later, so something like this. And older I get, older, more things are coming, you know, more busy, more problems and business. Yeah.
Yes. Rovshan, in a sense, you're like a Renaissance man who is living by that tagline, carpe diem, uhvati dan, or catch the day. Like,
catch the day.
Yes, just grab it and use most of it. But
Yeah,
I want to say,
I like this feeling. You also, I think, yeah, I'm now saying philosophical things, but I think it's just interesting for me. You also need to do it with joy. So not like, oh, it's a pressure of I don't know, family or life or competition, or I don't know, I need to travel. You know, musicians have a lot of time in traveling, and it's you know, of course you're getting tired, but if you think about it too much, you know, there is always pluses and minuses. If you think about it too much, then you becoming sad. But if you feel that making it with joy, I don't know, use this time for something positive, then it's fine. You don't feel tired so much.
yes,
Yeah.
I know that you're telling truth because you and me are planning this conversation for more than a month. And I know that your tough schedule didn't allow us to meet before,
Yeah.
but the moment we connected, your commitment was 100%. And I thank
Yeah.
you. And I thank you for that. I'm always interested in people's personalities and how they are, like, where they're coming from and where I'm meeting them. And I'm always impressed by the stages and the process they went through and how they become what they are. So I want to go a little bit back. You know, who is Rovshan? Now when you're in your 30s, and I'm interested, like, is which situation, life situations or circumstances made you the person, not just professional, but the person you are today?
That's an interesting question. I had a lot of influences. First of all, from my parents, from my father, maybe first of all, who was always supporting me and always believing in my talent. And so this sentence, like to be the best, I think it came from the period when I was choosing the profession. I remember this moment, exact moment, after, you know, in Russia we have the obligatory school, normal school, and the music school. And at the end of, I was finishing the music school, I was still studying in the normal school. And I had the choice. I was successful with other subjects. First of all, with mathematics. And I also did some the Olympiada, the competitions, mathematics competitions, and even won some prizes. And I had kind of choice when I was 16 to continue to develop this path of kind of scientific part, or path, or the musician, to become musician. Also at the age of 16, I was feeling that I need to do it harder and deeper. I cannot sit on these two chairs. And of course I was asking grandmother, my father, my teacher, my math teacher, my guitar teacher, even some of my friends, my sisters. So kind of collect the information, and I remember at that time my father was saying me like, choose what you love, but if you choose, you should be the best in it. And this was at that time, maybe it had a good influence, but later I feel a little bit maybe of pressure, if I had some mistakes or unsuccess, so I felt really disappointed. I didn't feel like, for example, there's a famous sentence, главное не победа, главное участие. Not the victory is not so important, it's important just participation. But for me it doesn't work. For me, I felt that no, if I won not first prize, disappointed. So this I don't want to say that it's for everyone, but at that time I felt that I am taking decision by myself, not my father, not my grandma, not my teacher. Everybody was saying different things. Somebody was saying like, oh, you should take normal profession and just play guitar like a hobby. So everybody's playing guitar, so you also can do it better. Or you can do, real profession, I mean for money,
to be more secure, to
because
do the
in
public
general people
job.
think that musicians more secure for the future. Yeah, the life of musician is not so easy, and especially for family. I always wanted to have family, so and yeah, so it was strong choice, and I think it made me feeling that okay, I'm taking decision. I should be responsible for continuation of my life. Yeah, so I only me, not my father, not somebody else. And I think this I analyzed that not so many people having this. Usually we kind of go in, taking the river and just where river goes, we go. And from that moment I remember I was doing kind of these decisions. Yeah, maybe this made my character also
Yes,
stronger or just different.
I agree. I agree. A lot of everything in life is actually a decision you make. And this small decisions, even with parenting, it's not just career, it's parenting. Once you decide for your kid to do that and not the other thing, or all the small decisions you make in a day or in a week brings or makes her a person or a family you have after a while. So decisions are very tough, especially when you have those junctions as you had. Science or your life would be completely different if you have chosen to do math than guitar. What is the guitarist that you love that had strong impression on you?
Yeah, of course, many. My first probably touch with hearing guitar, just guitar in general, was probably the Spanish guitarist Paco de Lucia, who I remember was very famous in Soviet Union. And during the I remember when I was like 6, 7, my father was listening and saying that this is cool. He's playing so great, and he played flamenco. This is not
Yes.
classical guitar, but guitar. So this is probably when I just started to play guitar. Before entering the class, and my teacher was introducing me, different things which is in the classical guitar world. I probably thought that I will be like Paco de Lucia, so something like this. But then, of course, many others. Like I remember first, I'm happy that I grew up without internet, because I was so hungry for the recordings, information, making pirate copies of some VHS recordings, and it's still in my memory. These recordings of famous classical guitarists like Julian Bream from UK and John Williams from Australia. This is like top names, and this was my first videos of big name of classical guitar. And of course I had many these tapes, recordings, and was listening to them, and even some at the beginning was also not so much scores, not so much partituras, yeah, because now you can buy online almost everything, but at that time if I like the piece, I should take the earphones and listen again and trying to подобрать ноты, как бы,
Yes,
to make my own.
Yes, yes.
By
To
my
guess,
ears.
just to guess,
Yeah.
what is the tone and how accord and how to copy paste.
Yeah. But now it's absolutely different world.
Yes.
All my students, they kind of, what you copy it, so just search in internet and 2 minutes and you got this.
Yeah.
But I should listen 1 week, note by note, and this absolutely another. I am glad that I did this, but because it develops other things, and also this was so great that from thinking about getting some information to the moment of getting it bigger time was. Yeah, so sometimes you want the recording, then you travel to Moscow, then you find where to make the copy, and during this time you feel something. And this is great.
Yes,
I'm missing this.
I totally agree, Rovshan. That's the process.
Yeah,
that's the process. Now we have guidelines to be whatever we want. Everything is on a plate, and people are either judging, making some assumptions, or they want to be in that position, so they're or in those shoes right away. But this process in everything in life. We need this process in order to get from point A to point B. And I'm glad that you are mentioning, I'm glad that you're mentioning, because that's probably one of the things that made you the person you are today. Not just the big decisions you made, not just moving from Baku to Nizhny Novgorod, but also the process of discovering your instrument, looking for the information, trying to guess the accords. So that's the process which led to
sometimes just dreaming, dreaming.
Yes. When we were preparing this video, we spoke about performances like on East or on West. Like there are a lot of cultural differences once you're in Japan or in Russia or in America. Like the audience asks different things and there are different expectations. And I want to talk more about that because I love that topic. So if you can share what you've noticed or what is your experience.
For example, in Russia, I'm memorizing, before I was first time in Europe, which moments surprised me.
Okay.
Yeah. So first of all, in Russia, there is a tradition of have the conferencier, somebody who is announcing, and it's separate person. Sometimes it can be actor, sometimes musicologist, sometimes I don't know, somebody who has good voice, but it's separate person, and it's a tradition. For example, I usually in Russia I don't speak, so I just playing. And but there is not like, for example, in US or in Canada that everybody have programs and performer just playing and sometimes speaking something, sometimes not. But there is a separate person who is making concert actually. For example, just recently I played in the in Moscow festival, Virtuosos of Guitar, very big festival, beautiful concert hall, Tchaikovsky concert hall, and they have a conferencier, Pyotr Tataritsky, who is like face of the festival. His personality, his voice, his comments is very special. So for example, in Europe I found that there is probably not so big tradition of it, or it's just over. And in Russia it's kind of normal to ask. For example, if I plan in the concert, usually the the presenters, somebody who is inviting me, asking, "Do you need the conference here, or you want to do by yourself?" It's a typical question. Yeah. Recently, this feeling also come into my mind that in Russia, due these pandemic things, it was, first of all, it was a restriction about the audience. At the beginning, all concerts was canceled, but then 25% of audience. So it was very strange feeling that, hall, when it's 25%, it feels like almost empty. There's just, and when people are clapping, there's like poop, poop, poop. Usually I want, bigger, but it's just small, and first feeling that maybe I played bad, or what, what's going on. And another thing is about the, in Russia it's tradition to give flowers after the concert. Yeah, so I remember in States, I think during whole tour, I think I didn't receive flowers, but I think it's just tradition, so I don't want to say that it's bad or worse.
No.
But in Russia, like every concert, I feel like should be flowers. Even I'm telling to my students, you're going to the concert. I have 5 students now. Please just buy at least one flower for all of you, and it will be nice. So it's a tradition. But during the pandemic, it was restriction that flowers or touching or shaking hands or just going to congratulate the artist, no, prohibited.
Wasn't
So, and I remember just last month when I think, when I received again the flowers. So it's just feeling that, oh, I missed it.
Yes, you were surprised. We are not judging. I just want to compare, because sometimes we are all the time, to be honest, making assumptions. Because I now live in another culture, and I came with a lot of so-called knowing, so-called what a thing's supposed to be. And I know when I faced first time, I was even rejected from some of the things I would usually do, because they were not in the same way, they were not done in the same way as I used to that. So in a sense, I just love today to know and share what is the custom on one side of the world and what is on the others, because people can read those signs differently. So giving flowers is completely common in my country. I think that a performance would be offended if there is not a bouquet at the end. You have to bring, it's something like...
the same in Russia. Even I'm so somebody thinking that it's only for women, but even for men, so it's kind of normal for concerts, atmosphere, and just that you prepare and you go to the artist and give him something. So what can you give? I don't know, some present, strange. Some I don't know, just hugs, also maybe not too much. But given flowers, it's beautiful.
That's the thing. That's the thing. Yes.
Good exchange of energy.
Yes. I'm glad that we mentioned this, because those cultural things are something we all have to get used to, because especially now when it's, global village around us, and there are people from everywhere. And once you talk and start interacting, you should know the language they speak in order to understand what they're actually saying. So it's not just words, it's actions. It's all those small things sometimes you don't appreciate because you don't know where the person is coming from. I want to talk more about Corona. You had a busy schedule. You were performing, I saw 2019 pretty much every day. You were all around the world. And how did you hear about Corona, and what was your first reaction?
I remember that exact moment. I was in south of Russia, in the Anapa, with beautiful mandolin and domra player Ekaterina Mochalova, which we will continue to play, and probably it was just our first concert together, and I hope we will play more. At least this season is coming. And I remember we were there when she told me, like, there's a pandemia in the world. I said no, I didn't check the news, but I said probably it's just for making big news. Yeah, no, it's very serious. Yeah, and the borders are closing and blah blah blah. So, and it was last concerts. My last concert was March 15, I think, of 2020. I mean, last live concert before the first pandemic, before everybody knew about this. And yeah, all other plans step by step canceling. So some concerts was scheduled for example, April. They say we will do in June, but then June canceled. I supposed to go to US for the tour in April. Already have tickets. Canceled, postponed to the autumn, and now postponed to whatever.
Who
So
knows? Who
who
knows?
knows? Yeah. I hope that it will change. It will be better soon, but who knows? Now it's very strange situation. We because musicians who is concertizing usually planning next season at least 1 year before. Sometimes big halls 2-3 years beforehand. And now we plan kind of last minute, and even in the contracts there is very strange lines like, okay, you agree to stay 2 weeks quarantine before your concert. Like I'm in the situation like, okay, I just need to live to play, and I am agreeing with this kind of compromises, which is very strange, to the person, for family, to stay 2 weeks without nothing in the hotel. So maybe it will change. So the moment of the canceling concerts was difficult. Yeah, I remember it was sad financially, first of all, and also just psychologically, that you have planned some concerts 2 years before, and then suddenly everything canceling. But I found, well, I'm happy that I have family, so I was not alone, and I was busy. So the first big, I mean, kind of interesting project was to make the online concert. And on April 24, I think, I did the online concert, my first online concert ever. And you can check on my YouTube channel. It's free in 3.5 hours. I played 3 parts. It was a big concert. I just started to feel that I need to move and to do something. And I saw, of course, many online concerts. Somebody did from home. Somebody did from studios or different. So once I saw the concert online, and I saw that, oh, nice sound, nice, more or less nice picture, and the studio was very close to my place. So I asked the musician, who was a guitarist, not classical guitarist, but the kind of
Electrical
guitarist. No, the kind of not classical music. He plays his own music. Mikhail Alenchenko. So also very nice guy. And I asked, like, oh, did you play there, and how was it? And he said, oh, it was great just to play for real audience. Not I mean, they were not there, but it part of the concert when they ask the questions and you answer online. And also this yeah, just to play for the people. So it was very difficult experience because organizers pushed me to play longer. Usually I'm playing 2 hours, 1.5, 2 hours. So normally for classical musician, it's like 2 parts, one part from 30 to 40 minutes, and second part is the same. But that time the organizers told me, like, it's better to play longer because maybe somebody is starting to listen to you not from the beginning. And well, I did. It was not easy, especially the feeling when you're finishing the piece, you're waiting for the applause, but nothing. And also the acoustic. You usually play in some room, but this was like studio. So small room without any big acoustic, and also the cameraman is moving around you during the playing. Okay, but this okay. and that then you have to talk. I decided to talk in 2 languages, so I talk in Russian and in English, because I know that it will be big audience from Russia, but also maybe another half from another country. So maybe I talked too much, like now, but it was also just interesting experience.
Let's talk about what happened after, if we can say, reopening. Like, if since September you start pretty much living, I don't want to say normally, but normal then in those first 3 months, and you continue working hard, mostly inside of Russia, but you had a lot of obligations and as a professor as well. So I want to hear more about your 2020.
Of course, I had many plans for Europe and also for the States, also some in Asia, in China, but all was cancelled. And I, as a father in family, I felt that, well, I need to do something, because otherwise how we will live. And I started to find something. What can I do inside of Russia? I always was playing in Russia, and always this country is, my home. Of course, I did a lot, but from this September, I understand that I'm locked here. So I don't know when it will finish. So I started. First of all, I started to teach more. Mm-hmm. So I before I was teaching in Maimonides Academy in Moscow, and from this September I was also invited and started to teach at the Gnesin Academy, mm-hmm. which is one of the biggest musical universities in Russia, definitely, and in general in the world. So I have more teaching, mm-hmm. and with concerts and other projects also. I think September and October was, still very very difficult, slow. It was restrictions with the audience. Also, every time you need to have this PCR test and all these things. So it was not easy. And I want to express just my feeling. I feel that probably public was scared to go to the concert, even with these restrictions. Sometimes we didn't have, for example, I played in Novosibirsk in November, and I remember it was, I don't know, like 30 people in the hall, which is like 300, maybe 400 people. So, and that was, and at that time in this city was a very bad situation. People, the hospitals was full, and even my parents told me, like, probably don't go there and so on. What I did, I just decided, okay, like I should go. So, and then I think probably from this March, I started to feel that, well, first of all, my March was busy. I mean, this year. And big festivals. Just at the end of March was big festival, which I mentioned, Guitar Virtuosos. Then I went to Kazan, where also there's a big festival, classical guitar in the 21st century. Next week I'm going again to Novosibirsk, which is a kind of capital of Siberia, and big city. Then I'm going to Nizhny Novgorod, where also will be live, also with restrictions and with some some restrictions, but life is coming back. And I think maybe I started to feel from this March that people hungry to the concerts, to live events, and they're kind of not so scared like it was before.
So slowly in Russia, you start performing, and there are at least 10-20% of the audience there, and you start feeling normal again and again.
Yeah, I think now it's 50% in Moscow, and in other cities 70-80 even percent, something like this.
But I'm guessing they all need to be vaccinated in order to come, because for example, right now in Canada, my parents are vaccinated in Serbia, whereas here I will be probably in summer. So no gatherings, no festivals, nothing. Probably everything will be canceled this year as well. During the corona, we were all in lockdown and we had a lot of time to think about our lives and clean our closets and, you know, everything. And I want to hear, how did you spend your time? Did you find uh, did you find anything new that you would love to bring forward regarding your instrument or your profession? How do you see your guitar now after this almost a year living in altered reality?
Yeah, of course, I was always thinking about classical guitar and developing it and bring it to more people, because I know that there's a problem of guitar, that uh, it's beautiful, but not many people knows what is classical guitar. Yeah, as I was saying, you know, there are many people who potentially will probably love guitar, love classical guitar and the sound and the repertoire, but maybe it's not promoted so much or so well. Or maybe, I don't know, there is a problem that maybe there is an association with guitar with rock music is too strong, that then classical is just, you know, going to be not so well
Yes.
known. And I, of course, during this pandemic period, I had much more free time, and I thought about, you know, developing of the guitar. Of course, I was always thinking about guitar and, you know, etc. But during this pandemic period, I had more free time to structure it. First of all, I don't know, also about the public, because usually at the concerts, who is coming to my concert? And I think in Russia, for example, in general, it's either somebody who is studying guitar, for example, pupils, students, their parents, or I don't know, friends, but very rarely, usually parents, or grandparents, and the teachers. Of course, there are plenty of them, because guitar is, I think, is one of the most popular instruments in music schools in
In
Russia.
Russia. Oh.
Yeah, because, for example, piano is very popular, but I think guitar is the same. If you check how many pupils, wants to study guitar, it's the majority of them,
Oh,
I
great.
believe. So, and this is potential audience. Of course, it's nice, but I also want to probably
Just break free and get out to the
catch
other
more.
community.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
And there's very often in Russia, I see, you know, kids and you know, where is this middle-aged people? Also in Europe, actually, when I was playing in Europe, also was surprised that in the audience I see very often people who is older than, I don't know, 60, 65. And this is also, I appreciate and I like it, but probably others, they just don't know what is guitar. Maybe they, maybe they don't like, but I'm pretty sure that they don't know.
Yes.
So,
Yes. How do you see your instrument?
yeah, I see the developing of this maybe through connecting with other instrumentalists, you know, because for guitar it's a lot of music written for ensembles. Also going to other communities through playing with orchestra. So actually what I did just last 2 weeks, and next week I'm also playing with orchestra. So it's kind of other people is coming, and probably they will like it and just spread the information. Of course I did it before, but during this time I just was trying to structure it, and I hope that the future of classical guitar is still, you know, is big.
Yes, yes. Promoting things, it's always a problem. I know I got in contact here with a conservatory in Victoria after I enroll my kid in some of the classes. you know, you start with your kid and then you put your name on some list, and sometimes, and if you're subscribed, you're getting news. Otherwise, I would go and follow another interest, and I won't be thinking, although I want to go on that concert, but I'm not aware that it's happening because I'm following other interests. There are so many things, so many options. So promoting work or promoting instrument is very important, and I would say even challenging nowadays, but when we are exposed to so many different things. So I wish that you will make it through, and you know, do as much as you can with your power, and because you are now in a situation when you can promote and say more about your instrument and your own career. Rovshan, I'm so glad I got in contact with you. I enjoy preparing this video and finding about your work and your personal life. It's impressive. Thank you for being part of my project, and I wish you all the best with festivals that are coming this year for you.
Thank you very much, Natasha, and it was pleasure for me to talk with you. You're such a it's easy to talk with you, and thank you for such a deep preparation, because it was really interesting also for me to think about your questions and these subjects. So I'm inspired.